Credit is due. Wardrobe, courtesy of Mary Moylan. Happy 4th of July weekend. Welcome to Unity of Mesa. Welcome into spiritual community. My name is Reverend Mindy Tucker, and I serve as co-minister here at Unity of Mesa. And I serve alongside Reverend Nikki Golden, who's giving our lesson today. Today we are blessed by Jackson Tyler as our vocalist and Kathy Howen as our pianist. I'm telling you, Holly Friedman does not get much better than this unless you consider the car show and ice cream Sundays after service. Okay, it's not too late if you're watching online and you're in the area to come on down. We have absolutely no judgments about whether or not you were in service, because we know that your spirit is with us. You can still have ice cream. Let's begin our time together with prayer. Taking a breath, blessing ourselves for all that we took and undertook and have undergone to arrive at this moment in our day, in our week, and in our life. Celebrating all the wise choices, celebrating all the learning opportunities that have invited us back into a conscious awareness of our oneness with God. Knowing that there's only one presence and one power active in our lives and in the universe, God, the good, omnipotence. Oh, that is why and how we are here. For this love, this joy, peace, wisdom, faith, imagination, and a commitment to live fully, to love wastefully, to stand in our power and be all that the divine is fully expressing in us. We say thank you, God, and amen. Amen.
The first thank you we have for you is for Mulligan's Manor. Give yourselves a big hand. Your generosity, outpouring of love. Oh my God, all the little things and the big things that you put in that box in the back of the room have been delivered and are just blessing all those young teens. Yes, and our new Worldwide Community Service Project is to bring school supplies to high school students. It is Sun Valley High School, as you can see on the slide, and we are collecting all through the month of July school supplies. And this is very important. I'm on East Mesa Facebook page, and I can't tell you how many people on that. A lot more things that we always had about those big old pencils. Do you guys remember those?
And a pencil bag.
And a pencil bag and some paper, and that was about it. But there's a whole different kind of list that's out there now. So we give thanks for anything. We give thanks in advance for all that you will share of your generosity and of your abundance.
That's right. Okay. This Wednesday at 7 p.m., it's a combination of gong and Tibetan bowls right here in the sanctuary. It's an opportunity to truly leave the outside and go within. If you would like, you can sit in a chair, or you can bring a mat or some blankets and lay on the floor and be bathed and healed in this magnificent sound.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to begin teaching a course on the 15th of July. I'm going to just call it Conscious Loving. It's based on a book. It's like a 25-year-old book, but it's the best book that I have ever read on relationships. And I'm not talking simply about partnership relationships, but the relationship that we have with ourselves is one of the most important relationships. And whatever relationship that we have with ourselves is what we do, those habits, those ways of being are what we do in relationship to others. And so I'm going to teach Conscious Loving. It is a book by Gay and Kathleen Hendricks, two of my mentor teachers. I just think it's a fantastic book. And I'm excited because this will actually be the first class I've taught in the year that we've been here, because other people have been teaching. So I'd like to.
She finally got a turn.
I've been waiting for my turn. But it's on Saturday mornings from 10 to 11:30 because we've been hearing you that we've been having night classes. So Saturday mornings, 10 to 11:30, beginning on the 15th of July. We have ordered books and hopefully they will be in the bookstore soon.
We affirm that they will be in the bookstores.
Alrighty. If you will stand as you, one more. Oh yeah, no meditation at 9:30 next week. Great. Now if you will stand as you are able and willing, we're going to sing Holy, Holy, Holy. Okay, these July birthdays, yeah, we're going to sing to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday like you. Uniquely created. I love knowing you. I bless you with life and abundance galore. God bless you, my loved ones, and many.
Stay standing for a moment. Stay standing for a moment if you're having a birthday. I want people to see you. I really want people to see you. So for this folks, my invitation to you is to go and to bless them in some beautiful the unity blessing it could be. May you have the best year ever, but bless them because you're blessing them and you're also receiving a blessing, and blessings will continue to abound here at Unity Mesa for but it's a beautiful thing to do. So look around and these folks will get a special blessing from you.
We have Asher, who's going to lead us in our affirmation, and also his big sister Ezri, who has done this before. So I'm going to pass the mic over to you, Asher. You ready?
I truly create the life of my dreams with faith and trust and the divine.
A reminder, we have our ice cream social over in the annex, straight up in the annex, straight after the service. So head over there and enjoy something cool, get to know one another a little better. And also we have our first ever Youth and Family Ministry car show, and that includes bikes, motorbikes, all kinds of things. I noticed a couple of decorated cars out the front. If you want yours to be in the show, please bring them over to the annex, on the side of the annex that faces this building, so everyone can see them all together. And any kids' bikes that haven't already come, we're around the back of the annex. Okay? Any problems, see me, see somebody, we'll get you situated. But we're going to have fun with that, so I hope you can make it. And thanks to all the kids and adults that are participating. All right, let's say our blessing for the children.
Children, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are.
I am free to be, free to dream, free to dance the dance of existence, free to create universes. I am that I am, no beginning, no end. I am the timeless. I am the witness. I am without boundaries. I am life ever flowing. I am you, and you are me. I am the open space. I am the open heart that welcomes all. I am laughter, stillness. I am the guiding light. I am closer than your every breath. I am free to be. I am love.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to rise.
Although on the order of service it says it is. This is Kathy Howe, and she's played with us before, and we're very grateful to have her. And do so beautifully, so thank you very much, Kathy. How many times have you had the experience of feeling like you were constricted by something that was outside of yourself? Just think about it. People are, raise your hand, yeah. Does that mean 5? Yeah, you have to multiply that for me. Constricted by something outside of ourselves. There's a lot of things that we think can constrict us. The weather is one of them. How many of you complain about the weather? Yeah, then you're seeing that something outside of you is having an impact on you, and you're not seeing your freedom within it. And that's a common thing. We forget sometimes when we look at life that we think that life is happening to us rather than we're in charge of our life. It's a big one. We're in charge of our life. No matter what is showing up out there, we are in charge of our life because freedom truly comes from within us. It comes from within us. And so often it's easy to put it off on something else. And say, oh, that made me do it. Remember, like the devil made me do it if you watched a certain show at one time, or do you remember? Yeah. So we often will put something off. Well, the airplane made me late. Well, the airplane might have had a delay, yes. I might be late, yes. But what do I do with that experience that is happening as life? Sometimes in unity and sometimes in spirituality, we think that because we're engaged in a spiritual practice, that practice is supposed to clear the runway for all obstacles. I hear some laughter. Has it done it for you? It hasn't yet done it for me. Actually, I'm really not looking forward to do that. Now, I'll tell you why a little bit later in this talk. But what spirituality does is it helps us to recognize that the freedom that we are, the freedom that we have, lies within us. Because within us is that ability to either react to life or to respond to life. Freedom. Freedom. What is freedom? In every moment, I have the opportunity to experience freedom. Do you believe that? I try to practice it regularly. Sometimes I fail miserably, but most often I have a bit of expression, you know, that 2 minutes of unenlightened ranting and raving. Then we are calling forth that freedom that is already within us, so that in every moment we around us. Will you affirm this with me? But if you don't believe it, that's okay, because we don't affirm something to begin to believe it. We affirm something because we know it to be true. And how do I know this to be true? Because it's my experience. How will you know it to be true? It can become your experience. So would you affirm with me together? In every moment, I have opportunities to experience freedom. Which also means that in every moment, I have the opportunity to experience whatever I believe is the opposite of freedom. The choice is always mine. The choice is always mine. And sometimes I'm very good at that choice, and sometimes I'm not so good at that choice. But when I am practicing principle, the principles we teach here, mind, idea, expression, when I'm practicing that what I think about, I bring about, when I'm practicing that my thoughts and my feelings are creating my life, then I'm in control of me. But nothing out there, I promise you. Nothing out there, but that's the beauty of it. Because when we can know that we have the power to be in control of ourselves, then we can know that what other people do is about them. So if somebody yells at you, that's about them. Did you do something to trigger it? Could be. Could be. Could be that you did it. Could be that they're just, shooting off a little steam and you happen to be the one that was in the way. But when I know that I am coming from the best self I can in this moment, then I'm able to say, oh, I wonder what's going on with that person, instead of, oh, it's Monday, or, oh, they hurt my feelings. And there's nothing wrong with getting our feelings hurt. Please don't hear that. But don't stay there. Have a better feeling thought. Have a better feeling. Express, do your 10 minutes. And then come back to the joy that is yours by divine right. Or express and choose the next highest feeling you can choose. We can go, I'm feeling sad. What do I want to be feeling instead? I ask myself this question sometimes. I don't feel sad a lot, but when I do feel sad, that's my go-to. What would I like to be feeling? What's going on inside of me that I'm feeling sad? Is it true? Is what's happening in me true? Yes, the feeling is true. Do I have to stay there? No, I have an impact. I can do something different than stay there. So in every moment, we have the opportunity to experience freedom. Foundational writer Martha Smock, she was a minister and a writer, says, freedom is yours, but you must realize it and claim it. That means freedom is ours, but we have to realize that freedom, and we have to claim that freedom. We have to know that it's a possibility for us, and we must claim it. There's nothing that can limit or bind you. Take a breath on that one. There is nothing that can limit or bind you. For in truth, in spirit, you are free. We are free in truth and in spirit, unfeathered and unbound. The only thing that limits us is ourselves, our limiting beliefs, our limiting thoughts, our limiting feelings. Because feelings can limit us. It's our perception. How do I perceive something? I had a great example of it just a few minutes ago. Kathy was playing something. I don't remember what she was playing right now, but she was playing something. And someone said to me, oh, that's the Canadian national anthem. And I said, oh, I know that is a Baptist hymn. Isn't that interesting? Because that tells me that what Emmett Fox says is that we demonstrate out of our own perceptions is true. It's one more data point for that truth. Oh, I didn't see it that way. Oh, I didn't see it that way. I'm seeing it a new way. So when we recognize that we are unlimited, we can look at how that question, how am I limiting myself? It's a question that I like to ask because I want to live the most expansive life I can live. Freedom is ours, but we must realize it and claim it. The Guru Osho tells a story about a man and he was tired and he was hungry and he decided he would stop. So he stopped at that roadside inn and he went in and he checked in and he put his things away and he came down to eat. And in that eating area was this cage, this beautiful golden bird cage. And in the bird cage was a parrot. And the parrot kept saying, freedom, 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 freedom. So all through the time he was eating, the parrot said, freedom, freedom. It's a little bit juxtaposed because here's this parrot that's in a cage yelling, freedom, freedom, freedom. And we cage ourselves or see ourselves in a cage, really, and say, freedom, freedom, freedom often. So the warrior went to he was a freedom warrior. The freedom warrior went to bed that night and he woke himself up in the middle of the night when everybody was asleep, and he tiptoed into that area where that parrot was caged, and he opens the cage and he says to the parrot, "Fly free, this is your opportunity." The parrot stays in the cage. He's like, "Oh, what's going on here?" So he reaches into the cage, and you can imagine what that parrot did. It started pecking his hand. He reaches into the cage, and the parrot's pecking his hand, and he's determined that he is going to free this parrot. And eventually, he gets the parrot to let go of the parts of the cage that the parrot was hanging onto with his feet. And he takes the parrot and he takes it outside, of course, and throws it into the air, and the parrot flies off. And he feels so good that he has freed this parrot. He's excited. He's freed this parrot, so he goes back to bed. And the next morning, as he's waking up, he hears freedom, 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 freedom. And he's thinking, oh, that parrot must be on a tree or a rock somewhere. And he comes down to eat his breakfast, and he looks at the cage, and the door is open, and the parrot is in the cage. And the parrot is saying, freedom, 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 freedom. This is us sometimes, not all the time, you guys, but sometimes the only thing that limits us is we're so used to that which was. We're so used to something that is familiar that we don't expend the time and the energy to make the new our old familiar. Not go backwards, but to become so familiar with the new that it's familiar to us. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes a desire, and it takes mindfulness and awareness. Martha Smock also says, the beginning of your freedom lies in your own mind. The beginning of our freedom lies in our own minds. It lies in our thoughts and feelings. It lies in our perceptions. It lies in our belief system. When you let go of limiting and binding thoughts, you find that conditions, persons, or circumstances no longer have power over you. Have you ever been in a grocery store and somebody's walking down the aisle that you do not want to talk to, and you turn and you go the way, oh, I forgot something on this aisle, let me go. Have you ever done that? No, you guys wouldn't do that. Or have you ever picked up your phone and you're not ready to talk to the person who's calling you, so you just don't answer? Yeah. We do things. These are just everyday kind of things we do. And then there's the bigger things that we do. But when we bring to our mindfulness, our awareness, and our persistence, then we can make a difference in our lives. We can begin to ferret out. We can begin to look for those limiting beliefs. We can notice that moment when we have locked ourselves into a limitation and say, I don't have to live this way. Say that with me.
I don't have to live this way.
But we have to catch ourselves. So awareness is that first step. And when we begin to develop the awareness, we can have some recognition. Psychologists say there's three basic components of lack of freedom or of limitation: cognitive components, emotional components, and motivational. When we believe, and Charles Swinburne, the co-founder of Unity, teaches that all healing is mental cleansing. He also teaches that all things begin in thought or in mind. And so the cognitive is very important. What am I thinking about? Where did I limit myself? Where did I see something as an obstacle for myself and didn't do anything but accept it as an obstacle? When I could instead say, oh, look at that obstacle. I wonder how I might do something differently with this obstacle. How might I get around it or climb over it or go under it? How might I perceive it as something that's supporting me rather than being an obstacle? In Unity, we teach that no one and nothing is against us. So no obstacle is ever against us. The universe is for us. And when we are living principle, when we are spending time in prayer and meditation, when we are open to a new idea, a different idea, then we're going to be able to see that obstacle as something other than an obstacle. Now, do we need help? Sometimes. I'm so grateful for people in spiritual community who are willing to say to me, hey, Nikki, you're having a limiting belief, or you're seeing that in a way that limits you. That's a gift to me. Does it hurt my feelings sometimes? Oh, yeah, I wasn't perfect. And what's really cool is that they love me enough to say, hey, would you be willing to see this differently? So I'm going to say that very same thing to you. I love you enough to say to you, hey, would you be willing to see this differently? Would you be willing to see life differently? The emotional piece is fascinating to me. Something happens and we have an emotion. It's a stimulus and a response. But the cool thing is that something happened, which I usually call another name for God, has a space between stimulus and response. And that space that's there is an opportunity to take a breath, to be mindful, to think, oh, how would I like to handle this? How am I seeing it? How can I see it differently? It just takes a moment, and we can live it for a lifetime. We can live seeing the world differently for a lifetime, and we can open up to new avenues. There was a psychologist in 1967. He was working on some things. He had been looking at the learned helplessness model in psychology, which basically says that if you believe that you're helpless, you're going to be helpless. That's the layman's term. If you believe you're helpless, you're going to act helpless. And Martin Seligman and Stephen Meyer did a lot of research, and I've talked about that before here, but basically what it is, they worked with dogs, and they worked with humans, and they worked with a lot of animals, and they tried to teach an animal that it could not escape, whether it was shock or a sound or something. The shock wouldn't be allowed these days, but the sound or something. And so the work was looking at these ideas that Seligman and Meyer had put forth about learned helplessness, and he wanted to have further inquiry. That's really what science is inquiry. Let me see what happens when I do this. Let me see what happens when I do this in a controlled kind of manner. And so he set up an experiment where he had two groups of people worked in. One group of people would complete tasks, and they would often fail at those tasks, and he would ask them simply to take responsibility for the failure of those tasks. And then in another group, he had tasks that you could not fail at. So here's a group that was failing frequently, but succeeding sometimes, and another group where you could not fail. And what he's really looking at is their response to failure. Not how well they did something, but their response to failure. Do you know that the group who had no failure, 100% complete success, did not learn how to respond to anything that was considered or perceived to be a failure? They just didn't know what to do. But the group that had failures and took responsibility for that failure that they made and said, oh yes, I failed this, I didn't do this correctly, it didn't come out the way I wanted it to be. They had a great ability to respond to life in a way that when a failure came up, they said, oh, it's just something that happened that didn't turn out to be what I wanted it to be, and they did something different. So this is why I don't want my life to be this open runway of no difficulties, no obstacles, no challenges, because I don't want to lose my ability to respond in that moment way down the road, many, many years later, hopefully, but not really. Many years later, I don't want to not be able to respond to what something happens. It's just like I thought it would, but I have freedom within me to do something differently. I can see this differently. I can do something differently. I can receive help if I need to. And so I want to be able to embrace whatever life brings forth for me, to be mindful, to be aware of what's happening, and then to use my inner persistence to be able to solve or resolve whatever I see to be the challenge in front of me. And this is where motivational comes in. When I have the ability to see failure as just something that happens, when and it's just a part of life, but I recognize within me that I have all of the capacities of God because I'm living both from my humanity and my divinity. When I recognize that my inner choices and my inner gifts can be of support to me in the challenge, then I can dig down and find the motivation to take the action. But a group that, like Dwork's group, that had only success, something happens and they don't have the motivation because they have a level of learned helplessness. They don't have the motivation to dig down inside of them and to move through anyway. And we see this when we hear people talk about having a dream, but something happened and they decided that, they weren't supposed to do this because there was an obstacle in the way. But often the obstacle is the universe saying to you, do you mean it? Do you mean it? Is that what you really want? Are you willing to work for it? Are you willing to apply spiritual principle in a way that moves you forward? Do you guys ever have these conversations with God or Spirit like this? And then how beautiful to be able to go within, to find the inner guidance within me that finds my answer. It finds my answer. And when you go within and you sit in silence, when you sit in a guided meditation, when you're, I would say, walking on the beach, but I don't think you could do that here, but when you're walking in a park, when you're swimming laps in your pool, when you're doing whatever it is that's a repetitive a repetitive motion, then you're in a meditative state. And that ability to let the answer sort of bubble up because our mind is previously occupied, there it is. Oh, I didn't think about that. I hadn't seen it that way. It's just a new shift. And it's not really any different than, oh, I know this song is this and I know this song is that. And I would never have thought about it as this. Oh, I wouldn't have thought about it as that either. But now I have a new perspective because in relationship, in interaction, my mind has been expanded and my awareness has been expanded. I think this is what we do for each other in spiritual community quite often. We say, oh, that's an interesting way to look at it. Would you be willing, now don't go just telling people, hey, I got the answer for you. Would you be willing to think, wow, would you be willing to hear something I'm thinking about? You don't have to accept it just because you heard it. But if we hear it, we might spark an idea, or we might do that thing. We never know until we're willing to go with it. Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning, says, everything can be taken from a man but this one thing. And this was written a long time ago, so we can say everything could be taken from a human but this one thing. The last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Everything can be taken, and everything pretty much was taken from Viktor Frankl, if you've ever read his book. And he developed a whole new set of therapy concentration camps. And he did lose just about everything. But he did not lose his attitude. He chose in the midst of difficult situations to maintain his attitude, to find meaning and purpose in life, no matter what was going on. Sometimes life can be challenging, but can we find that meaning and that purpose? Can we maintain an attitude of gratitude, an attitude of persistence, an attitude of wonder, an attitude of seeking the good that's in all things? Can we do that? Only we can answer that question. But the answer for me is yes. The answer for our leadership at Unity of Mesa is yes. Are we moving forward? Yes. Is it exciting to me? Yes. I hope it is to you too. Is it vibrant? Yes, for me it is. I hope it is for you too. Let's be a community that sees the challenges of life as something to actually expand our consciousness and our awareness, and to remind us that we have the freedom to be all that we can be, and that we just simply need to apply that freedom. And if you're questioning that freedom for yourself, come talk to me, or go talk to each other. Go to our prayer chaplains and find that freedom within, so you can create for you the absolutely best life. You can be who you were created to be, to love generously, and to live fully, and to wake up every morning going, wow, I wonder what this day will bring, because I know that I have within me all of the capacities to face this day and come out on the other end with gratitude. Freedom is the ability to gain new perspective and to find the inner strength to face the challenge. Freedom is the courage to face what is before us, knowing that the answer for us is already within us. Freedom is that ability to choose to use the creative flow of wisdom and guidance that's already within us to support us in finding our way, no matter what emerges for our life. If you're up for this, let's go back to the beginning of that first affirmation that we did together, and I've added choice to it. In every moment I have the opportunity to experience freedom. I choose to live from my inner freedom to create my best life. If you're in for this, let's say it together.
In every moment, I have the opportunity to experience freedom. I choose to live from my inner freedom to create my best life.
I choose to live from my inner freedom to create my best life. As we sing our way into meditation, begin to think, what is my best life? How can I take the good life that I'm living now and live an even better life? How can I expand my awareness to knowing that within me is all that I need in this moment?
I am
that we have is an opportunity to be the voice in the heart, bringing that consciousness of all that can be through us to others, but first of all to ourselves, recognizing in our life that our freedom, our ability to navigate life comes from within us. We have those gifts already. And my gifts may be different than your gifts, and your gifts are different than someone else's gifts. But each of us is gifted in our own unique, individualized expression of God way. It's a holy, holy way. For we are whole and perfect and complete in spirit. We are the only ones who see ourselves as limited. Are you willing to see yourself as unlimited? Are you willing to see your full humanness and your full divinity coming together to live your life, to be, to know, to do, to have a great time, to play, to choose, to respond, but most of all, to love. Most of all, to love. So quietly in your mind, say to yourself, I love me. I love me. I love me. And from that love of yourself, think about someone that you love, and you can say, I love blank, and you fill in your blank. I love. Doesn't matter if that love is returned. Your job is to love. And we can love freely, we can experience our freedom of love. But where spirit is, there is freedom. Where we love, there is the presence of spirit. And imagine you as a little person. That sees from a new perspective, that sees the perfection of the moment, that may still feel the difficulty and the challenge of that moment, but we know that as we love is the universal healer and harmonizer. We can bring harmony to that moment from this moment and then leave that moment in the past. Freedom is a freedom of mind, it's a freedom of emotion, and it's a freedom of motivation. And bringing yourself back to the awareness of this room, this time, and this place. I'm going to invite Ben to open up the lights. And I'm going to invite you to take a breath and look around to the freedom fighters, the freedom lovers, the freedom warriors, the freedom pavers that are here in this room, in this moment, holding your best interest at hand, knowing for you, as you know for yourself, that all freedom comes from within. Let's celebrate yourself for just a moment. Celebrate yourself for just a moment.
Okay, I forgot something. I forgot to tell you my name. And for those who don't know me, I'm Delane Collins, and I am the board member today. And as I see each day, I'd like to do better. So forgive me for not telling you my name, but most of you do know my name. I brought this up today because this is the way my husband and I share in the offerings. We come together on our Monday financials and do our monthly sweeps and figure out what we're dreaming of and what our freedom is to do for whatever. And we say yes to that. And what a great service of saying yes and having freedom to do what it is that you would like to do.
So in whatever way you choose, be it that you volunteer here, like many of you that are out there, I can see and I know that you are so generous with your time and efforts and talents. There's different ways to contribute here at Unity of Mesa. The first way is online, and I do that. I've done that now for the last maybe 4 years because of being outside the church and that. And also going back to Ohio and Pennsylvania. I can freely give online, and then I know that things are being taken care of here. You have the Vanco app, texting. I haven't texted before, but that might be an idea. Mail. I would have to say that I have mailed at different times, and in person. Sharing your love and the offering is always welcome. So, I think that brings us to the affirmation. Let's say it together.
Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
I did my best to notice when the call came down the line. Up to the platform I surrendered. I was broad but I was kind. And sometimes I get nervous when I see an open door. Close your eyes, clear your heart. Cut the cord. Are we human? Or are we dancer? My sign is vital. My hands are cold. And I'm on my knees looking for the answer. Are we human? Or are we dancer? Sister good, pay my respects to soul and romance. They always did the best they could. And so long to devotion, you taught me everything I know. Wave goodbye, wish me well. You gotta let me go. Are we human? Or are we dancer? My sign is vital. My hands are cold. And I'm on my knees looking for the answer. Are we human? Sister, be alright when you dream of home tonight. There is no message we receive. Let me know, is your heart still beating? Are we human? Or are we dancer? My sign is vital. My hands are cold. And I'm on my knees looking for the answer. You gotta let me know. Are we human? Or are we dancer? My sign is vital. My hands are cold. And I'm on my
great gratitude that we bless this offering. We bless each and every one of you here and online in all the ways that you give, but most of all in all the ways you are present with us. Together, we are
One with the opulence of God, we are now in the flow of infinite abundance, and we give thanks for the prosperity that is ours by divine right. All right, so I know you're totally ready for Ice Cream Social. You are totally ready for a car show beyond all car shows you've ever imagined. Because our kids are involved, our children are involved. It's a fundraiser for the youth. We do have chaplains available to pray with you, and if the chaplains would stand up and identify themselves, we've got Sharon Meslanka and we have Jim Rice, because we're leaving you with some big questions. If I went backwards, it would begin with, are we human or are we dancers? Right? It's a line of inquiry, and then all of the beautiful points that Reverend Nikki made. Woo.